Oh, it's going very slowly this morning.
It's being live streamed.
Yes. Did you get that message?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, now let me get back to looking at you all. Morning, Amy. Morning, Jean. So the two really good questions that we had this morning, one was about disappearing emails, and the other one was about chatbots. So I'm going to go with disappearing emails first. And to do that, Teresa, we're going to have to share your screen so that we can actually see what's going on. So if you have a lot of things open that you don't want anybody to see, go ahead and close those tabs while I allow sharing to occur. Oh, Amy's showing us her garden. Wow. Are those zinnias? Wow, very pretty. Very pretty. All right, Teresa, unmute yourself.
Okay.
All right. So when you move your mouse down at the bottom, you should have a green box that says share.
Yes,
Okay. You do have your email account open, right?
I do.
Okay. So go ahead and click share, and we're going to look at Teresa's screen. When you do that, it should open up a box and you have your choice of what to share, and you pick that, the desktop.
Share, it says sharing is not turned on.
Oh, no,
You
I
can
thought I did that.
you can request sharing for this meeting. Send
Yeah, no.
request.
I hit sharing. There we go. Hit it again. All right, try it again.
Boy, I got on. Think.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi.
We're talking about disappearing emails, and we're getting Teresa to share her screen. Do you see
Okay.
share now, Teresa?
Yeah, and then now it's saying allow Zoom Workplace to share your screen.
Yes.
Open system settings.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Go ahead. What kind of computer are you on?
I'm on an Apple.
Okay.
Now I lost you.
That's okay. You did not lose me. Just because, remember when we talk about this, and you are not the first, the only, or the last person to think that's happening. Computers have got layers, right? They're just like a book. You can open a page in a book, read that chapter, close the book, and the book is still, the chapter's still there. So I'm still here. You can just listen for now. I'm just in I have to use Windows technology because I don't know what it's called in Apple, but we're just in another page. Okay, so did you allow it? Allow sharing?
Uh, yeah, I thought I did.
Medina is playing with her backgrounds.
I didn't know you could see that.
Yes, of course I can.
What's the disappearing email? I don't get it.
Um, so Teresa is having problems where emails disappear on her.
Oh, okay,
So
thank you.
I can't.
From my
Me
folder,
too.
I created all these folders, and for instance, I got a new vehicle last year, and I had a folder called 2025
Mhm,
Ford Explorer. When I went to look in there, it was empty.
mhm.
Oh,
So that's why I need you to share because I have no access to Bell South emails. I can do all kinds of other things, but I can't look at Bell South, so we have to look at yours. So where are we at with sharing?
Okay, let me just stop this and go back to the Zoom. Okay, so I clicked on share at the bottom, and what
Could
comes
be.
up is screens, documents, advanced,
Yep. So you want the one that looks like your computer window.
entire screen.
Sure.
Allow Zoom Workplace to share your screen, open system settings and privacy.
Right. I thought you were there.
No, okay, open
I
system,
said yes to that.
privacy.
So while you're figuring that out, folks, she has an Apple computer and has her system set to higher levels of privacy than I do. So that means that when I go to share, it doesn't ask me if it's okay. It assumes that because I chose that I can share that. Apple is giving her a more control over making her choices. And so she's in essence asking a different company to have access to her computer. Now, it's not access like it's going to do anything. There's nobody at Zoom just waiting for a moment to pounce into somebody else's computer. But Apple cares very deeply about security, and so it's added this feature to make Teresa have to jump through the hoops to say yes to it's okay for Zoom to open and look at something on her computer. So where are we at, Teresa? I'm stalling here for you.
It says,
It's like in a
open
in a
system
restaurant where somebody
settings.
knows what they want and then the other person are stalling so the other folks can figure it out. Talk to us.
Tells me to click on privacy and security,
Yes.
and all these things pop up. I don't know what I'm looking for.
Okay. So are you in settings?
Yes,
Okay. And is privacy and security one of the settings?
yes,
Okay. Are you in that section?
yes.
Okay. And now what are your choices?
It starts privacy, location services, calendars, contacts, and then accessibility, app management. It's got all kinds of stuff, Bluetooth, camera, but it doesn't give me an option to turn it on or off.
Do that again.
Where's Joyce Peckman when I need her? Medina, you have a HP, do you have a Apple camera? I mean, Apple computer?
Yes,
Okay. Do you want to do this too? So you might be able to guide her through it?
so what do you want me to do?
I want you to go to share in Zoom.
Share, okay?
And when you click on share, see, it may look entirely different sharing through a PC versus an Apple. So I don't know how it's going to look through an Apple computer. When I click share, what happens is it opens up a screen sets on top of Zoom, and it gives me options. It gives me my choices. I can share entire screen, which is
Yes.
what I'm looking at right now, or I can share application windows, which
Yes,
means that it will open up so you all can look at what I'm looking at when I'm on the internet. It can also open up documents, so there's lots of choices within that. But what I would do is I would pick application windows. Now I'm sure that because I'm operating on Windows, that's a different word than it's going to say for you. What is it?
actually, it says application windows.
Oh, okay. All right.
But then in the box, it has a triangle with an exclamation point and underneath Safari-unknown.
Okay. Click on the application windows thing that's underneath that word. On mine, it's a picture of my actual computer screen right now. So you click on it.
I'm clicking on it and nothing is happening.
Then you have to hit the button that says share. There's a little button down at the bottom of that box that says share.
Right, okay.
So now hit share. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Teresa figured it out.
I don't know.
She beat you to it.
Oh.
All right, good. You got it. Figure it out. All right, we're looking at her kitty. Teresa, what we need to look at is your email. So click on your email. There you go. Okay, can you make it a little bit bigger? Okay, so now over here on the side, let's see, this is so
Yeah,
tiny.
This is Sandy. I can hear it, but I have to keep putting in my password.
Where is settings for your email, Teresa?
Mail settings.
Yep, there you go. And also Tiny. I'm so glad you're sharing this screen. I can't see this at
How do
all.
I make it bigger? I
Uh,
mean, I just what,
Yeah, it's I guess it says can you maximize the screen? Because right now, like I can see the screen under your screen as well. Can you maximize it?
how do
If
I
not,
do that?
that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll struggle with it. So in settings, more discarded mess, trash, list. What does that first one say? List what?
List preview.
Okay, thank you. Show message headers, display unread messages, summarize. Does this list go on? Like, can you scroll down? Is there more, or is that just what's in the box there?
That's it.
That's it in the box. Mark all messages as read. Okay, we're probably in general right now. What does it say at the top? Yeah, what's that?
We're in
No.
viewing. You want me to go to general?
Yeah. Okay. Is there something that says when messages are deleted? Archive or delete something.
Delete muted messages.
Okay.
Automatically try sending later if outgoing server is unavailable.
Okay, so it's not there. What's next to, and this page doesn't expand. There's not a scroll
No.
bar down on the side.
No.
Okay, so what is it next to it? It says accounts. Then what's it say? Junk mail?
Junk mail.
Okay. And then enable junk mail filtering. But if it's something you've already looked at and put in a folder, it's not going to be in junk, so we're not going to spend time there.
Right.
Fonts and what?
Fonts and colors.
Okay, viewing, what's
Composing. Signatures. Rules.
rules. Go to rules. News from Apple. That's all it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
All right,
says
what's next?
extensions
Extensions.
and privacy.
Interesting. This doesn't look anything like what I'm used to looking in terms of rules. So Jean had made a comment that it was about being deleted. Oh, you're looking in Yahoo. Yeah, exactly. You shared a file. All right. In Gmail, it's quite different as well. And I'm not seeing like what happens with your mail after you've read it. This actually doesn't look like a lot of choices. Yeah, those are the
New
default
messages.
mail
New messages.
servers.
Okay, so it's on top.
I'm gonna look at Scott's a minute and see if he's enabled that mail. Yeah, in his iPad it doesn't give those options. All right. I'm stumped. What I'm looking for. Go ahead and stop the share. And I'm gonna share. All right. So
It could be server-side settings that are deleting the emails on the
server
Yahoo
side?
side. Yeah, it could be server-side if it's POP or whatever the other
Mhm.
one is.
Mhm.
Sometimes the mail servers delete the emails. So I don't know how Yahoo works. It's a really good question.
She doesn't have Yahoo though. She has Bell South.
Oh, okay. I thought it looked like Yahoo. Sorry.
It might, but that's what I was saying that
So it could be server side. So you have to look at, is it a ISMAP or a POP server, and what are the retention policies on that server.
Mm-hmm. But Teresa, it's not all of them, right?
No. It's only the ones
That's-
I need.
Oh
That's the
yeah, that
challenge.
seems like a rule.
Yeah.
Seems like a rule, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go, I'm in, you all can see my screen. So what Jean was talking about and what I'm alluding to is in settings, for instance, in Gmail, you've got, your general settings, a lot of what Teresa was showing us. Enable dynamic mail, smart compose. So these are just kind of some general ones. And notice there's a lot of choice when you've got different email servers do entirely different things. So this one in general, that's not where I'm going to find it. Labels. So these are all the labels that I have for this specific one, but I don't think there's rules about labels. These are just labels, because so notice the little note down at the bottom, removing a label will not remove the messages with that label. So let's say that I decide that I'm going to get rid of this folder, the Venmo folder, and I click remove it, it'll go away, but the messages do not go away. So that's why I'm a little bit stumped about that. So let's look at some other ones. Change account settings. I'm looking to see what we can search for in yours to figure out. Okay, you're not out of storage, are you?
No.
Okay. Filters and blocks, forwarding and pop. So, messages or access, IMAP. Okay, iMark. Okay, so complicated, but right here, it says auto expunge off. So I'm thinking that somewhere you've got a setting that maybe auto expunge is on, meaning that things get automatically deleted. But my real challenge is, why is it just some specific ones?
Right.
Auto advanced templates, custom keyboard shorts. Here's my other thought. All right. Let's get out of that and let's look at this for a minute. Bell South email. So it, like Jean was saying, it might be. Okay, and that's why I forgot about that, Jean. That's why it looks like Yahoo, because Bell South is AT&T, Yahoo. They were connected. I remember that now. Some other people that had
There
Bell
you
South.
go.
Yeah.
Conglomerates.
Yep, exactly. But hers is saying, when you look at her address, it says that it is Bell South. So what I would do, Teresa, is I would go to Bell South email support. There are numbers that you can call, because I'm thinking that it has to do with a setting with the actual server. Do you want to
Okay.
take these numbers down, or you can look them up yourself? Versus being your settings on your computer, because it doesn't look like, from what I could see, and honestly, I would say spend a little bit more time in looking at those settings. In email settings, look a little bit more. But the other thing I would do is I would look on your computer. You should have access to your Bell South account right there. Have you ever looked at that?
No, not really.
Okay. So, you just pay the bill and it's all good to go. So you should have, on every device I own, the company that controls how I get my stuff, whether it's on my phone with Verizon, or on my computer with my internet provider. They control how that stuff comes to me. And so it seems like maybe Is Bell South also your internet provider?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would I would log into my Bell South account on the computer and see if there's options to change email settings there. If there's
Okay.
not, go ahead and call one of those 800 numbers and find out what's different. So just to fill in some folks who came in late, Teresa is having issues. She's created folders in her email, and when she gets in her email account, she's created folders to organize, which is great. I love it. I do that a lot. Take your email once you've read it, put it in that folder, then you can find it. I have found it very, very frustrating with the number of emails that we get in a day to be able to, oh, good, Jean, to be able to just blanket search for an email. Oh, so-and-so sent me an email about such and such. Let me search for that, in a list of 10,000 emails. It's nearly impossible, and it's, for whatever reason, doesn't work very well, but putting things into folders works really well. So she had some emails about her vehicles, and she had put into a vehicle folder, and now they've disappeared. They literally aren't in that folder. But Jean is doing research while we're looking, and she said that in Yahoo settings, if you look in chat, open up chat, looks like you're looking on the phone, and it's got in your settings under accounts in Yahoo, found the option to download old emails, and there it is. So take a look in chat and see how that worked in Yahoo. And because Yahoo and Bell South were the same company, or not the same company, they were working together, same company, different divisions, whatever. Maybe they've maintained that ability for you for Bell South as well. You see that in the chat?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jean. That was great.
No problem. I got there from help. Then it had a little bold text that said, not seeing emails in your mobile app. And I clicked on that. So
Okay.
go to help at the bottom if you have it. I don't know what you have in your Bell South hybrid model there. Yeah, I did IT for 30 plus years. So sorry
Excellent.
if I dig into these, it's habit.
Love it. I love it. No, that's perfect. Awesome.
And I know you don't have that platform.
Nope, I don't. All right, good. So hopefully that will give you some answers. We definitely want a report next week about what you were able to find out. Okay.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about chatbots. So, Linda, do you want to start the conversation?
That it seems to be more and more used, and we've talked about it here too. But I've had people in my house, I think I reported this, that used it like nothing. It was really delightful. And I came across an email or some news report that said that they're going to start using this in the schools. They're going to be teaching the children using AI a lot. I don't know where to separate AI, or maybe not. But in any case, for myself, I have never clicked on a chat box thing. I am just afraid to do it.
Okay. All right. So I love the question because it's just true curiosity, and it's something that we are literally not capable of distancing ourselves from anymore. I can remember, I want to say at least 2 years ago, when I had shared with the group how frightening and thrilling and wonderful, all in the same moment, it was when I'm typing in on my Google Pixel phone, and it's predicting my next words. Okay, I remember when that started, and I remember talking with you all about it and going, it sounds just like me. And it was like, that's creepy. And that's very cool. It just made my life easier because it's finishing my sentences for me like a good husband should. And so it's like, wow, okay, we've jumped, a long ways from that. And now we've got chatbots in everywhere. So let's distinguish what is a chatbot versus AI, because they are not the same thing. Chatbots are literally when an option is provided for you to talk with the company versus in text on the screen. So it shows up much better on a computer screen than on my phone here. Although they exist in both places. So I had saved some windows. I'm going to pull up the ones that show it right away.
Betsy, is that like when you, I don't know, you click on the website of a company and there's a little box that shows up and it says, I am your blah, blah, blah helper. What can I do for you?
Yep, exactly
That's a-
that. That's a
That's a
chatbot.
chatbot?
Yep.
Okay.
So what I
Thank
was
you.
going to do was I found one, and in talking about chatbots, so I thought that was really fun. Not only is it an article about what is a chatbot, but it has a chatbot here. And I'm hoping it's going to work. I didn't mess with it because I wanted to see whether it would work in the moment. So I'm going to click here, and it opens up a window. And it says right here, this one is AI. All right, so if I scroll up, this is the IBM assistant, and I'm ready to help you. I can connect you to team members, support, sales questions, something else, more information, or type in a question like, what are AI assistants? So I'm going to do that one. Why not? And there's my question. And it says gathering information. Its chatbot is called Watson X. And just like that, it gave me a nice little answer right here. And it says, and I like this because I like that IBM is in several times already said, this is AI, this is AI, this is AI, so that there's no mistaking where this source of information is and that you're not talking to a human being. Intelligence software tools, conversational manner. So this is really it in a nutshell. Class is over. Just kidding.
Okay, bye.
Bye. It talks about that there are several, and it's gonna, it's an IBM website, so it's gonna start with IBM's Granite, Meta's Llama, OpenAI like ChatGPT and Gemini and Pilot. Those are all different ones. They're used for all kinds of things. And basically it's the difference between. Remember way back in the day when you made a phone call and you got somebody that you may or may not have been able to understand very well because of language and accents?
Mhm.
And we were looking for answers from a company, and they were outsourcing that aspect of customer service to very, very cheap labor somewhere else in the world with people who were practicing their English, basically. So now computers have eliminated that need. So it's really interesting to me when, on the very rare occasion, I do get that person from somewhere else in the world who is difficult for my ear to understand their accent. And at that moment in time, and it just happened last week, I was like, oh yeah, I love AI because AI has eliminated that challenge of understanding somebody whose English is not their first language in trying to answer a question that is very specific. And so in that way, I'm going to say that I love AI and I love chatbots when it comes to customer service, because what they do is there are several different styles. One style is just called machine learning, ML. Machine learning is where it is literally just written programs, and they are usually rule-based, which means it's a lot more, it's a lot less fluid. So it may say, and I'm thoroughly making this up, but it's an analogy. They may say, if this person wants chocolate ice cream, then this, or this person wants vanilla ice cream, then this. Remember those flow charts where we used to have a box and it'd come down and it'd say this or this, and then it'd go off in another direction, and then it'd go off in another direction? Nod your head if you know what I'm talking about. Those little flow charts that, used to say if this happens, then this, or if this is the case, then it goes this way. In a very, very crude way, that is what machine learning is like. It's a set of rules where it says, this thing happens, then this, or this, then this. And that's very stiff. It doesn't allow for a lot of variation in questioning. You can, do you remember back a long, long time ago? Gosh, I don't even know how long ago, when you asked a question of for a search engine, you had to be very specific about it. There were like rules. You would use and, or you would use or you would use quotation marks, or you had to do a lot of things specifically. Notice how far just our simple, internet searches are. You just type in a couple of words and you get a plethora of information that you may or may not want. That because the machine, the intelligence of the machine that it was, one, programmed to do, and two, has the capacity to learn, not really on its own, but yes, sort of on its own, to anticipate what you're asking. So we don't have to put the and, the or, the except, the quotation marks. You don't have to put in any of that when you do a search. You just put in a couple of words and boom, you get all kinds of information. So as we look at how machines learn and how machines are programmed to give us the information that we need, the technological changes have just been growing immensely. So going from that, if this, then this, to I type in what's an AI assistant and it gives me a whole article. Now, interestingly, with that particular question, that was one that it suggested. So let's ask it a different question, not related to what it suggested, because it said, how about, type a question like, what are AI assistants? Notice that it also gave quotation marks and question marks, and I chose not to do any of that. I just put in this, and it didn't care. It gave me a great answer. So, oh, and then it says, so here's the chatty part. Did I answer your question? Yes, you answered the question. And then oftentimes it comes back and it says, great, ask me another question. So I can say, are chat bots good or bad? This is a much more complicated question, right? This requires an opinion. And it says it's gathering information. Little bit slower on this one, right? Because it didn't have a ready-made answer. I'm sure that that previous question has been used a lot. Okay. So it says, again, it's an AI-generated response, says that they can be beneficial, offering quick customer service and always on support 24/7. They have limitations and risks. They rely on rule-based systems, provide predefined responses, but lack flexibility. Generative AI, while more advanced, pose security risks such as data, intellectual property, privacy concerns. So that's honestly a pretty good, in a nutshell, without going into a whole lot, what the difference is in pros and cons. And it lists 2 references, and I'm always interested in what the references are. Let's see if it, okay. And so if I click on this, it says, what is a chatbot? And it went to an article. If I hover over it, whoops, I didn't mean to tap it. Okay, it opened up another window, and it opened up the window of what is a chatbot. And that's where I was already. Notice it's the article where I was. Or the other one was what is chatbot design? And if I hover over it without touching it, it shows me that it's going to go to an IBM article that says chatbot design topics. So you can dive deep into what is that. And then of course it's going to ask me, did I answer the question? Sure, good enough. Now let me ask one more question of this particular one. Anybody have one? Or I'll just throw something out there.
Ask about the email. No, just kidding.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who actually controls AI? Is there some organization or a man or a god or
aliens.
somebody controlling AI?
No. Yes and no. Yes and no. That's a really, really good question. Let's just see what it says. You're okay. Okay, so honestly, and here's the thing, IBM is like the original computer folks, right? So while we don't hear about them nearly as much as the ones that are in the news all of the time, IBM is still out there, and they're still very much doing what computer companies do. Your emails might disappear due to filters set up automatically. Move them to other folders rather than inbox. Check spam. Ensure notifications aren't disabled. Verify your email address. Confirm your membership in relevant groups. Okay, so and there are 3 references to this. So if I click here, founders notes, email notifications. Again, this is all articles. So they are literally just combing IBM topics. So they are not combing the rest of the internet. Every single reference that they've used is an internally generated information. So now I just want to say no, just to see what it says. Please clarify your question. Okay, so I could go on with this. So Linda's question. What happened to Big Blue? I don't know. Good question. So Linda, each different company that has AI, ChatGPT, Pilot, Gemini, what are the other ones? Bard. Well, Bard is old. Bard doesn't exist anymore. All of the tech companies that are working on AI, they all have people who worked on designing the program that makes AI run. So there is not a person behind it, so to speak. There are many, many people behind it. And the people are not creating the answers at all. The programs that they write, going back to that ancient flowchart thing, that's all programs are. Programs are a set of rules that say this is going to happen, and then when this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. And so all of those rules are written out in a different language called code, computer code, that computers run on. Now, if we get deeper into how does that work, that is pure wizardry and magic. That I have no idea. I have no idea why or how it works. I also don't understand how combustion engines really work, or how, I don't know, that water is actually oxygen and hydrogen, which are normally, gases. I don't understand that deep of a level of it, but on the surface level, I do understand that, yes, there are people, and those people basically taught a dog how to do a trick and then left the dog to do its tricks, so to speak. So people aren't monitoring it, people aren't managing it. when you ask a question, why did Teresa lose her emails? No human saw that question. It goes into this big program that does, and I was talking about how there are different styles of how this works. Some of the styles are very, very strict rules, and we saw that in the quick little brief thing. Is Martin in the room? Martin's not in the room. Nice try though, Amy.
Darn.
The very strict rules are going to have limited ability. Whereas when we are looking at some that have more flexible rules, they've learned with a different system. The program was very different. There are large language models, LLMs, and those take into account the nuances of languaging, basically, as far as I understand it, so that, you know, if I say cool beans, people of a particular era know what that means. It does not mean, I don't know, black beans that I've cooked in a pot and allowed to cool, you know, so that I can make a salad with it. That's not what cool beans means. But if we think about funny things like that in our languaging, literally, and for anyone who doesn't speak English, cool beans would make no sense in a sentence if I wasn't talking about food and cooking, right? So that's where I'm talking about different language learning models. And we'll look at that in a minute. Medina had a question.
Yeah, thanks. It's interesting that we're talking about this. Yesterday completed a 6-day Holocaust symposium up here at App State, designed to teach public high school teachers how to teach the Holocaust to their students. And there were 2 sessions about AI and Holocaust denial and distortion. And I went to them, and it was horrifying, horrifying. She showed us how she put in just the phrase, show me a black and white picture with Jews that are smiling with the star, with the yellow star they were required to wear in a concentration camp. And there it was. It looked so authentic, so authentic. This old, you know, back in the 1930s, black and white picture with Jews in a concentration camp, and they're smiling. They're happy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So do you know what program she was using?
I could look it up. Do you
Okay.
have a minute? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
sure.
keep talking.
Absolutely. So, to answer that, it's interesting to me that was the way they went about that. I use Pilot, the Microsoft AI program, a lot. We did this before with the picture of the squirrel driving a sports car on the Pacific Coast Highway. I've done it with, there was, when we were talking about viruses, I had a picture of a nurse combating computer viruses. Pilot often refuses my request. Gemini, so Pilot is Microsoft, Gemini is the Google AI. Google still always refuses my request for people in general. It started out back when it was Bard, it started out allowing people, but Google said, yeah, people are creating really bad things with this. We're not going to do this. And so every time I ask Google for one, it's like, no, we're not going to do that. So let's just share for a minute and see what Gemini will do today. So let's see. Create, and you can see you can see this Gemini screen, right?
Yes. Yes.
Photorealistic image of George Washington walking with Martin Luther King. Okay, let's see what happens. Image generation of people is coming soon to Gemini Advanced. Wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's part of what they've explained, because I was like, wait a minute, for the longest time you were doing this stuff. Now you're not doing it. What's the deal? So I'm gonna switch.
Remember, we did this several months ago with
Yep.
birds playing cards,
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So in my notes here, I see that like Chat GPT, Gemini, and a couple of others, they basically analyze data, whereas a generative AI will create new content such as text, images, music, and other media in response to user prompts. So she used, let's see, Sora, Sora, but I think to create this picture, she used, it's called DALL-E,
Dolly. Yep.
DALL-E. And there was another one called Wixel, but she used DALL-E. And she just typed in, create a photo, black and white photo of Jews in a concentration camp. With the yellow star and happy families or something like that.
Interesting. Okay, so now all of a sudden, so this is the first time this has done this, where Copilot wants me to sign in. And I have not had to sign in before to make this happen. So it may be that they are these particular companies okay, there we go. Now let's try create an image of George Washington walking with Martin Luther King. All right, this will take a couple of minutes. So, what you were saying, Medina, about the difference with a generative image, this is interesting that nothing's happening. Usually it tells me, okay, we're working on it or something. Doesn't look like it's working on it at all. Interesting. I'm going to stop the share and see if it'll come up in a minute. But generative AI, here's one of the things I figured out as I've been digging around in creating images like that. If you pay for it, you get a lot. You get a lot of options, creating video that's not real. And there is a lot of danger in that. Yes, there is. Because that's how false information gets spread. When we're talking about AI, whether it's chatbots in customer service or if it's in AI that is, you're just asking some questions or doing some research, honestly, being aware that it is AI, number one, is very, very important. And crediting where you got the information from. So if you just accept an AI answer and you use that as your answer, and then you disseminate that information to other people and not credit it, it's no different than any other kind of plagiarism. So Linda, my hope with working with school students is that we, as a former teacher, that we are teaching students to credit, because we always have. If they were doing an article on Florida and the ecology of the Everglades, and they went to the Encyclopedia Britannica and opened up that dusty old book and got the information, you had to credit where that information came from, right? In order to get credit for this report that you did, whether you were doing a third grade report or a, PhD level, theses, you've got to credit your sources, because most of the time we are not creating our own original ideas about this kind of stuff. And so with teachers using it in schools, I really have no problem with that, because I don't see it different than being able to credit any other source. And the important thing is that you say where it came from. So I know we are real close to being out of time, and some people are going to have to go, and we're going to have to keep an eye on people coming in for class, but let's look real quick and see, did it generate something? It did not generate anything. Nope, it never went anywhere with that. So I'm not sure what's happening with that one today. All right, going back to the next thing that we were looking at. I don't need to look at that one, but I do want to look at one of these articles that I had pulled up. Now I'm not finding it. That's interesting. More about what chatbots are, and there's your little corner for your chatbot. If I go right to, where's my Google search, and let's just do, what is a chatbot? Okay, so if I take this, right, this little AI overview, and it's very clearly, this is Gemini AI overview, who did this work for the search now, and it gave me that. Each of these has a link, so I can look and I can see to the source. So it is crediting the source. I can dive deeper. I can also continue scrolling and go to other sources myself. So I can go to Wikipedia, I can go to IBM, I can go to Oracle. There are many, many places that are weighing in on the question, what is a chatbot? It's on the top of a lot of minds right now. What are they and how they work? So much information here. And even like Microsoft is talking about its own particular one, just like IBM was talking about its. Also, when I look next door with my first AI overview, and then here's my links, they're over here, so here's my Oracle one, here's my IBM, here is my AWS. So I can now look sideways instead of scrolling down for some of the answers. These links are just referenced over here, and you can look at them there. Not giving the source for where that information came from is plagiarism, if you are attempting to pawn it off as your own, right? Yes, there is, in addition to bad actors, like with what Medina said, with that AI picture of the Holocaust, some chat programs will not allow that. Some will. I'm real curious as to whether or not she had paid accounts with the one that generated that picture.
She did, because she's a scholar and a researcher.
Okay.
And also is a professor at a university in Tennessee.
Okay. And so, doing that kind of thing to see what the capabilities of particular AI programs is one thing. If it were someone else who had paid accounts and then took this to further their Holocaust denier conversation, we have real problems with that, obviously. Anytime that history is attempting to be rewritten, and even current events that are attempting to be rewritten by people who don't want to have truth or reality in the public eye, that's a problem. And knowing when something is fake or real is becoming harder and harder, for sure. And that being said, there are so many good, beneficial, useful uses for this latest technology. As with anything, there are always going to be people who are stealing, distorting. I mean, there are people who are doing bad things, and there are good people who are fighting against that. And we just have to continue to be vigilant, use the tools as they suit us. Linda, I wouldn't specifically be afraid of using it. It's not gonna steal your information. There are lots and lots of people out there who are gonna steal your information, but AI and chatbots are not. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is generating, not taking. It only takes what you give it. You ask a question about something, then that information becomes part of its learning process. Just like when I talked about with the conversation, if you know, somebody says, "Oh, you've won $1 million," and I say "cool beans," you know, that's part of the learning. If I did that in a chat bot, then it would learn that that's one of my phrases. It's not, by the way, it's a friend of mine's, but you know, but it does learn my phrases. It uses awesome, wonderful, and fantastic a whole lot because those are my phrases when something's good. So we just have to be vigilant with it, paying attention. And I think that everybody in this class does. And I think that that's really awesome because you all are ambassadors for the good, bad, and the ugly of what's out there in technology these days, and just keep spreading the word. Awareness and being, you know, getting some joy out of the beauty of it too.
What
'Cause
does cool beans mean?
yay.
That's all it means?
Yeah, it's like
Oh, that's nice.
early 60s, I think, saying.
Nice.
Or 50s, 50s.
Is it 50s?
I believe so.
Okay. Interesting, because my friend who says it is about my age, and so I figured it would be in early 60s.
Well, it might be. Might be.
I'm not sure.
And
It just means like, well, that's good. Great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Cool beans.
I think, you know, wait a minute, maybe it was that, oh gosh, I've lost his name. One of the TV shows from way back then, you know, like one of the Smart Alec, like the Eddie Burns in school, I think it was. Can't think of his name. It'll come to me in the middle of the night, though. No worries.
Of course it will.
Of all the
course it will.
technical, of
Oh,
all the
this is-
technical things we've discussed, now we're talking about cool beans.
This is very funny. So,
Fonzie, it's Fonzie.
oh, Fonzie, really?
Fonzie.
I
yeah.
I
think
did a
so.
quick search, and in slang dictionary, this is kind of scary. What does cool beans mean? Won $50 on a lottery ticket? Cool beans, man.
Yeah, Fonzie. The
And I just
Fonz.
used the lottery example.
I think it was before Fonzie.
Let's see, where does it come from?
There's an
Uh,
expression in Israel, Kabbalah Hazman. It literally translates to "it's too bad about the time,"
Eh.
and I
Oh.
think that it means wow.
Huh. This says best we know so far, cool beans is first recorded among college students sometime in the late 60s and early 70s.
Oh,
Cool here meaning good, a slang term in the dating back to the 1800s.
There we go.
But beans, no one knows for sure. Slang lexicographer Jonathan Green pointed to other legume slang phrases dating back to the 1800s, such as some beans, meaning impressive, full of beans, excited. And another theory links cool beans to the drug culture, with drugs like acid being linked to beans. A connection underscored by the use of the phrase cannabis by Cheech and Chong. There you go.
There we
Amy.
go. Martin.
Okay, wait, here's Jackie's answer. Whatever the origin, cool beans was popularized in the 80s and 90s
wow.
by Full House by the
Ah.
character DJ Tanner. Any drug associations were lost at this point as cool beans became an old-fashioned, wholesome quality by then.
Yeah.
Boy, if you remember nothing else from this class,
I know, right?
Linda.
thank you.
Have a great week. Please send me questions.